Hello guys, today we'll be drafting a corset top pattern and the tools required are tape measure, scissors, paper, ruler, marker and a curved ruler. I usually like to start by drawing my own starting line. I realize most of the papers we buy for pattern drafting are not straight, so I like to draw my own straight line. So I subtracted 2 inches from my initial shoulder length because we won't be needing it and it's a tube corset. So I mark my horizontal measurement, which is the armhole, the bust, the underbust, the waist, and the hip or the length of the corset. I joined these points with a ruler to the starting line, forming the horizontal lines. Just as you see me doing, you mark each point to the starting line in a horizontal way and label this is the armhole, the bust point, the underbust, the waist, and then the hip measurement or the length of the blouse. My shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2, I have 6.5 inches. On the armhole, I will divide my bust measurement by 4, which is 8.5, but I usually reduce by ½ inch if it's a tube top. My waist divided by 4 is 7 inches. My hip divided by 4 is 10.5 inches. Connect the shoulder line to the armhole line in a vertical way. Then I usually like to come out by ½ inches in the corner to connect the armhole to the shoulder line. We won't really be needing this armhole line, but then just for reference, I connect the point with a dotted line just for guidance, as you see me doing. So my nipple to nipple divided by 2 is 4 inches, and that's what I'm drawing right now. So you do that on the armhole, the bust point, the underbust, the waistline, and then the hip line, and connect it with a ruler. I also extend the line upwards for about 5 inches. On the bust point, I came down by 0.2 inches and then up by 0.2 inches. For somebody with a bigger size, you can come down by ½ inch and ½ inch on the top, but I usually do 0.2 inches because I'm a small size. Then on the waist, on each side, I came out by 1 inch. Same with the armhole, 1 inch on both sides. I came up by 1.5 inches from the hip measurement, then connected that point to the waistline or the 1 inch mark on the waistline. The same way you connect the point on the bust point to the 1 inch mark on the armhole line, connect that of the underbust to the waistline, and then to the 0.2 point on the underbust line. Okay. So I will be going up by 2 inches for my neckline of the blouse. Then also go out by 1 inch from the line and connect it back into the armhole line. We will be making a few adjustments to this dart. We are going to create a hip dart, so I come out by ½ inches on each side of the hip line, then connect it to the waistline, just as you see me doing. Then you replace that 1 inch mark on the hip line. We are going to replace all the dart taking. So the armhole, we took 2 inches. The same way we are going to replace the 2 inches. So you extend it this way, then connect it back to the armhole line, then draw a curve. We won't be needing it though, but just for reference, like I always say. On the under bust, this is what I like to do for proper bust holding. I come out by ½ inches on each side and curve it into the original line. Then connect it back to the waistline. This gives a very firm hold to the bust area, especially for people with a bigger size. So it is now time to draw the neckline. This is according to your own preference. So this is the neckline I'm going for. I like to curve it this way. And I came out by ½ inches for sewing allowance on each side. I came up by 1.2 inches from the hip line and then curve it into the original line, just as you see me doing. I hope you understand. Okay, on the bust point line, I came down by 1 inches for smaller size, and then you can do 1.5 to 2 inches for a bigger size. Then connect it back into the bust point line. To create the bust darts. Usually when you want to prevent shortages on the neckline, it is very important that you fold your dart onto each other in order to reshape your neckline or when cutting. This is how I cut my neckline, just as you see me doing. I fold each dart on each other and then I cut it. Then you fold the bust darts, just as you see me doing. And reshape the ½ inches allowance on the side. So I extend these lines to create the back pattern. Then just as I did for the front, the shoulder line 6.5, the bust, which is 8.5, but reduced by ½ inches, making it 8, my waist, which is 7 inches, then you connect the shoulder line to the armhole line or the bust line. We won't be needing, like I say. So I connect these points with a dotted line for reference, and then I create my dart line. This is done by dividing your nipple to nipple measurement by 2, where mine is 4, just like I did for the front. I came up by 1.5 inches from the hip line, and then I'll connect these points together, forming a vertical line. On the waistline, I came out by 1 inch on each side, then half inches on the hip line, and half on the bust line. Connect these lines together to create your dots. Then do well to trace the armhole created for the front to the back line. Do well to place the amount you took in for the dots on the side, like for the bust point and then the hip line I place 1 inch, and then on the waistline 2 inches. Then the half inches for sewing allowance on each side. Connect these points together. Just like I came up by 1.2 inches on the side, the same thing for the side of the back pattern. I came up by 1.2 inches and connected it to form a small curve and extend the dot line on the hip. So when cutting, fold the dots lines on each other before you cut all the time. This helps to prevent shortage. Then cut the pattern out just as you see me doing. So we move to the back pattern the same way you cut, but then we are going to draw the neckline for the back. It depends on your own preference. You can just go down by 1 inch. You can curve it inwards. You can shape it according to your own personal preference, you see. But then I just came down by 1 inch, just as I did for the front. Make sure you always fold before you cut. The same with the top neckline, fold before you cut. I just came down by 1 inch. So we now have our front and back pattern. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment, then share to your friends who are interested in sewing and help my channel grow. So where I've indicated red is where we'll be cutting. And then if you want to have a dot in the front, this is how you do it. You go in on the waistline by ½ inch and then you connect, just as you see me doing. And then you can equally cut half of the other side if you want to create more dots or more lines in your corset, but I'm just going with just the single that I've created. There won't be any joining in the middle of my corset. So this is how I cut out my dot. Very simple, very detailed. If you have any question, don't forget to comment. This is just the pattern drafting video. In my next video, I will be posting the sewing tutorial. But then I just hope that you recreate this pattern, because it's actually slowed down for this purpose so that you can understand. So I cut out that of the back pattern, just as you see me doing. Then you label. Also indicate where your top point is, because sometimes you get confused when it comes to corsets, especially if you cut them into a lot of pieces. Then also label the front pattern, that is my center front and then my side front. I usually like to connect my side patterns together so as to correct all the mistakes on the pattern before I finally cut on the fashion fabric. You see there is an excess on this pattern paper for the back, so I reshape my neckline for the back. This is how I do it. You connect it to the waistline and connect it to the armhole, just as you see me doing. I hope you understand. Then you bring it back to the center back and then reshape your back neckline. See how simple it is? Hope you understand. This ensures accuracy. Thank you for watching. In my next video, we will be doing the cutting and then the sewing on the fashion fabric. Thank you for watching.